The night's long shadows have dragged you through time and across worlds to kneel here before my worm-eaten throne. I offer you now this one chance to walk away with your lives and your souls intact. Please, tell me our story.
Courage is not enough alone. It's not enough. Not enough for most of us to survive the grim, relentless realities of life. We turn to vices. We turn to the bottle. We turn to lust. We turn to brief respites from the truth of our pain. Sometimes, some of us look to the heavens, lift our eyes to the gods, and lift our voices in prayer. But not all gods have names like Jehovah, or Mohammed, or Paladin, or Syrian. Some of us pray to more formless gods, gods of love, of art, of greed, of vengeance. And no matter what God's name hangs from our lips, we all look for signs that we've been heard, that our prayers have been answered, that everything will be okay. But maybe we're too desperate, too eager to make words out of what's just the wind. Do we see signs that the gods are listening, guiding us? Or is it only chaos that we see, muddled and mistaken? Projections of our need to understand an incomprehensible world. In tonight's story, we will see many signs. When last we left, the black-robed woman, Honoria Salantis, she had followed the infamous wizard Raceland Magier through a haunted grove and into the Doomspire, a cursed and abandoned tower of high sorcery. In its ruins, she called out for Raceland, and though he did not answer her, she found herself drawn to 3 hanging mirrors covered in shadow. When she reached into the darkest of these mirrors, she felt herself pulled through into a strange other realm. She stood before an underground lake made entirely of thin shadow, and up above, a vortex of humanoid shadows swirled around the opening to the cave. Those shadows were stretching for Honoria, but someone was keeping them at bay, away from the lake. It was a handsome, golden-haired Knight of the Rose, his arms spread out wide as he struggled against the weight of the darkness above. And so, unceremoniously, Honoria slit his throat. And as his blood spilled onto the ground, the shadows were unleashed. She flew upward into the vortex, higher and higher. For a moment, she saw a glimpse of Sir Reardon, Knight of the Crown, and Rokon, a Minotaur warrior, fighting against a Draconian and his Minotaur slaves. And then that glimpse was gone, and Honoria was again lost in shadow. 357 years prior to Honoria's flight, that was the last time we saw Sabria Sunishal, warrior priestess of the fire god Syrian. Though all of the true clerics in the Age of Might had vanished, taken from Kryn in a rapture-like event, Sabria was left behind. And so she did her best to save a world on the brink, to complete her holy quest, to kill the mad king priest Beldinus Polyphero. In the Temple of Kirigilith, she made her move on the king priest, and by Sabria's hand, the power of her god, the kind-hearted knight, Lady Drexa, and the frightened priest, Kargoth, were both burned alive. But Sabria was no match for the king priest himself, not yet. She was saved only by a strange wave of shadow that spilled from the king priest's mouth, that swept her up and brought her to a circular room filled with mirrors. And there were two other figures there. Hawk, the king priest's bodyguard, and Averin, a wounded, half-elf young woman. Before Sabria could clash swords with Hawk, those shadows once again grabbed her, dragged her, her shoes scraping against the cold stone floor, and pulled her through one of the room's many mirrors. And now, Honoria and Sabria, you find yourselves face to face with each other. Honoria, you stand at the edge of a black ocean, looking into a bright light. And Sabria, you are standing at the edge of that sea of pure light, staring into a veil of shadow. You are inches from one another, separated only by that window between the light and the dark. So we begin tonight's story.
I will move around the edge of my darkness, looking at the light, pulling back my cloak as it is now, gazing upon this person in the light, and I will call out in abyssal. Sound that is strangely mimicking of barking dogs. Very rough and guttural. I say, who are you?
Sabria, you hear her voice speaking in an abyssal. It's like it's through a fog. It's like it's a distant echo. Even though she's standing right before you, it sounds further off, but you do hear it. Do you speak abyssal?
Mild. Laced. Ah.
So, while we wait for Allison's Wi-Fi to pick up a little bit. Is there anything else you want to do, Tia? Did you call out?
As I'm kind of standing there and I'm not getting an immediate response, my first thought is almost to use my Honoria's minor eyes of time so that I can see what's going on in this ocean of light. Is it painful to me to look at this?
It's bright. It's as painful as staring just to the right of the sun, not staring directly at the sun. It's uncomfortable. You might find yourself squinting, but it's not painful.
I don't have any spells that would allow me to go through, and I believe I still have some of the marble pieces that I took off the statues inside of the Tower of High Sorcery, so I would like to take it and flick it casually in her direction and see if it passes through.
You flick the ruined pieces of crumbled marble, and as it reaches the wall, you see the light almost react warmly to it. It's like you're touching a sponge, and that sponge kind of soaks in the vibrations of that movement. It doesn't pass through, it stops and hangs there for a moment, and then it drops, and it falls into shadow.
I'll lick my tongue across my teeth and I pace back and forth, kind of like an animal in a cage where there's meat on the other side, and looking towards her. I still don't want to be the one to brave the threshold. I think that she should come to me. If I were to, as a bonus action, cast Infestation behind her, Brun Hissiting, would it appear on the other side of the light?
Do you want to try to determine whether or not you think it would before you cast it, or you just want to give it a shot?
I would like to try to determine, because the possibility of a spell reflecting at me from the light could be incredibly dangerous.
Go ahead and roll me an Arcana check.
It's a 16.
You believe that whatever barrier exists, it's more than physical. That the distance between you and she in the light and dark is more than a few inches. It's almost like you're looking through a portal, a window, something between two worlds. So you could try it, but it might not work.
It not working is fine with me, as I don't have to expend any of my spell's power, which I'm now desperately holding close to me. And I grab my spellbook in hand, and I kind of make a friendly face, and I move my hand slowly towards me as I call out Bruin, and I cast it behind her, using that as the somatic material, or sorry, the somatic component of my spell. And if it does work, I'd like to cast it behind her in hopes that it will get her to move the 5 feet forward to come through. I'll go ahead and put the... Oh, that is not the entire spell card in there.
So you unleash the spell and you cast it successfully, but instead of appearing behind her, it appears again at that very edge, at the meeting place between the brightness and the shadow. And unlike before, where the light reacted warmly, now you see like 100 darts of light flying from not Sabria, but from behind her, moving around her. And there's a zap, 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 zap. It's almost like bugs into a bug zapper, as all of the summoned creatures are eradicated at that border. You can see a little bit of swirl of darkness, tendrils like fingers moving out of the way of the light in reaction to its resistance to your spell.
I go back to pacing at the line back and forth, and I look out at the black sea behind me and I scream out in common, "What is this test? What do you want from me?"
Honoria, as you turn around and call back to the darkness, behind you, for now, Sabria fades away. You don't see it, but it's like she's being absorbed back into the light. A spray of rainbow colors like stained glass. And in the dark, not far ahead of you, you see a black-robed wizard with golden skin and golden eyes, with two pupils shaped like hourglasses. You know this wizard. It's Raceland Magier. He speaks, whether to answer you or to accost you, and his voice moves through you like a cold wind. Hello and welcome, Honoria. I believe I heard you call my name.
I will slightly bow forward, pulling back my cloak completely and tossing it to the one side. I've been looking for you for a long time, Master Magier.
Well, you have me at something of a disadvantage. You see, obviously you know much about me, but before seeing you enter the tower, I did not know you existed. I was surprised to see you follow me so effortlessly. Surprised that the grove allowed you through. But here we are. Why did you call my name? Why do you seek me?
Your eyes, they're so beautiful. What do you see when you see me?
Potential. Failure. Wisdom. I see many possible futures for you, Honoria. Is that why you have come to seek me? I am not some fortune teller.
Nor am I, if I may. And I reveal my eyes. I look at him across whatever the distance is, and I focus directly into his sight using my remaining spell slot at level 1.
And what is it that you're looking for?
Right now, I'm just trying to show him the spell and the effects of the eyes, but since I get an insight of how I might best interact with him in the future, if there's something that I could say that might impress him, that might draw him closer, that might get him to take me as an apprentice.
All right. Roll me your choice of either Persuasion or Intimidate, in addition to your spell casting.
I'm going to go with Persuasion.
As your eyes turn to gold, similar to his, you see a number of possible futures, many possible futures of how the next few moments could go, what might be gleaned, what your best way or worst ways forward would be. In many of those futures, you see a very quick demise for you. In one of those futures, one that seems to interest Raceland the most, you see yourself ask him about that same strange lake that you saw in the mirror. And then your spell ends and you are pulled back into yourself. Your eyes fade, and you see that you've piqued his interest. Where did you learn such magic? It is a rare form.
Very rare. And I kind of look down, and I'm not feeling it, but I attempt to emote great sadness and pain. From my mentor. I was lucky enough to have one. And I shiver, and again, not feeling it, forcing the fake body reactions.
I'll let you roll me deception here.
Okay.
I take it that your mentor was not a kind man.
No, he was not.
Kindness has no place in greatness, Honoria. Do you know this truth?
I do. I suppose that is why I have crossed the dark lake to get here.
You see his face disappear for a moment as his hood comes low, and then he raises his head again, and again you see the shining gold of his face, of his eyes. You speak of the Lake of Sounds.
I
Have you
nod.
seen-
I have seen it. It has seen me. I have crossed it, and here I am.
I allowed you to follow me out of curiosity. I knew that if you were a threat, I could defeat you here easily. But you continue to be a curiosity for me. I do not know how you have seen the Lake of Sounds, how it has reached out to you beyond the veil. But if you seek something, tell me now. And if it was in my power to grant it or advise you, I shall.
Why else do we chase the magic? Because we don't have a choice. It's not about the study. It's not about the usefulness. It's not about showmanship. I need the weave. I need the power. I need to carve my own destiny and not be subjugated by others that would tell me who I am, where I am, when I am, and why I am. I seek something beyond life.
That is a noble cause. One that I understand. For whatever it's worth, a few words of wisdom. There is choice in life. Many choices will present themselves to you. Now, in the immediate future, and if you are lucky, in the years to come. And though you may walk your own path, forge your own way, as I have, never forget, the one who walks alone has the shortest journey. you will need others. Can
You
you
walk
accept?
alone. No, you don't. I don't say anything more than that. I'm not going to mention Caramon, but I ever so lightly test fate. And I nod.
Even though you don't say more than that, you see those pupils, those hourglasses burn with a fire. That fire, for a second, engulfs all of his eyes and then fades. And then just as smoothly and as easily, his voice like a whisper, I will present to you one choice. You may take it or you may not. I have come to a place to serve a purpose. If you wish to help me, there is a task I can present you, and this task will lead you to power. But it is not an easy task.
You know as well as I do, there is only one direction. Speak it.
I do not know where the Lake of Sounds lies. Find it. Drink deep from its waters. But before you may do so, you must kill the one who guards the lake. If you do this, you will be more than a wanton wizard, a fledgling. You will be a true wizard. And you will possess the power to return home or to whatever time you wish to move to, really. It will be your choice.
Do I think he's trying to get me to kill myself? In an elaborate plot that would be amusing to him.
Roll an insight check. The logic part of your brain says that if he wished to kill you, he would just do so. He plays his cards close to his chest.
It will be done.
I hope that you are up to the task. I will check in on you as I can. And remember, do not walk alone. Use those around you.
I always have.
Is there anything else you would ask of me while I'm here? Time here, it's fleeting. It's difficult to say how long we have.
No. I have what I need for now. And you'll be checking in on me once I complete my task. I would prefer time to think out my questions.
Very well, then. Take care of yourself. Suddenly, Raceland begins to gag, to choke. He appears frail, frighteningly so. He hunches over in pain. And then the shadows swallow him like one great maul, one single hungry gulp. He dissipates before your eyes to reveal another figure. A gaunt, proud-looking man with a neatly trimmed, triangular gray beard. He also wears the black robes of a wizard of high sorcery, and a bloodstone pendant hangs from his neck. He glares at you.
I look him up and down, but say nothing.
You're not supposed to be here.
I disagree. I am here.
Not for long. And he reaches a hand up and touches that bloodstone pendant, his fist clenching around the gem.
Does he seem familiar to me at all? Oh, charisma saving throw?
Charisma saving throw. And, well, I don't know. Who do you know in the world?
People. I know some people.
Whatever spell he's casting is powerful. And you see, again, those tendrils, those fingers of shadow begin to move. They're no longer your friends. They're no longer a cold comfort. They're snaking towards you, grasping.
Shirak. I put light in front of me. See if it will slow their approach.
As he hisses, and the light is snuffed out with a counterspell. Those tendrils are still coming towards you.
Fuck, is the ocean of light still behind me?
It is not. It is gone.
Oh, Menselik Kalihan. And I cast Mirror Image. Oh, man. What do you want?
Slowly, the tendrils begin to grasp at your mirror images, and you see them break and shatter, pulled down below you into a sea of blackness beneath your feet. And they're continuing to be pulled down, even as he releases his hand from the pendant.
Can I counterspell this?
Do you have counterspell slots?
I have one.
Absolutely.
Here.
And in that moment, you have the chance to somehow beat back the shadow. How do you do so?
With the counter spell, or with the light spell has been extinguished. I attempt to grab into the weave, and at the same time pulling a strand of weave around me to protect myself with my ward. And I attempt to, almost like I could see the weave as notes in a song, destroy the music of his melody and move parts of it away while I'm backing up and pulling different strings towards me for power, at the same time looking at him with my eyes.
You are able to manipulate the shadow to move it away from your mirror images to protect yourself. And he again raises a hand, almost as though he's going to flick his wrist and counterspell your counterspell, but he stops. There's a slight momentary flare in his eyes. And then he clasps his hands before his stomach and he says, I want to save the world. Are you going to be a problem?
I care nothing for the world. Why would I stand in your way?
Because I did not invite you. You should not be here. How are you here?
Well, and I kind of shrug and smile. I came through the Lake of Sounds.
Very well, then. You may pass. Perhaps I will kill you later. And he throws his robe over his shoulder and he turns back to the shadow. And as he does, he begins to vanish from your eyes, leaving you alone in the dark.
Goodbye, Master. Hmm.
And as Honoria is left in the dark, we return to the light. Sabria, you see Honoria there. You're standing at the edge of that darkness. She's trying to speak to you, and you can hear her voice in Abyssal. But then it's like she freezes in front of you, like she's a still image. And you find yourself bathed in this warm, comforting light. It's bright. But there's something there that you recognize.
I turn to face the source of the light if I can identify it. Shielding my eyes for a moment, they're still becoming accustomed to the brightness.
It's like you're walking on a field of light, like light is beneath you and above you and all around you, though you can see up above where you would expect to see suns, 3 sources of light, almost like 3 suns or 3 very bright stars or moons.
I step forward, trying to get a feel for the width and breadth of this place. Hello? Hello?
It seems endless, but your voice doesn't echo. It doesn't feel like it's endless. It just looks like it's endless. And after you call out to the light, there's a speck of black in the distance. And then that speck grows into the shape of a man. You see Hawk, clad in clean black leather armor, an ivory-hilted rapier hanging loosely from his hip. He's a tall, older, wiry swordsman with stormy eyes and a neatly trimmed triangular gray beard. He dips his head to you, and he says, "You must have many questions, Sabria Sunishal. Please, if I may, allow me to introduce myself properly. I am Grandmaster Hawk. I am the leader of the Erephaeus, and I am not your enemy."
I reach for the sun-shaped pendant at my neck and cast Detect Evil.
You feel the pendant vibrate rapidly in your hands. He is evil.
I believe that perhaps you are. And yet, I'm willing to hear. What answers do you have to offer me, Grand Master?
Your quest was a valiant one, doomed. Foolish, perhaps, but valiant. You never had any chance to defeat Beldinus alone. No more
I was not
chance.
alone, Grand Master. I was not alone. My God was with me. My God is with me still.
Yes, yes, your God was with you and is with you still. And I have my own devices, and even with those devices, even though I am strong, I, too, was no match for Beldinus. You made your move. It was a valiant one. But rather than see you burn and all of your potential turn to ash, I have brought you here.
So I have you to thank for this. Your mercy.
It is not mercy. It is shrewdness. I wish to see Beldinus stopped. I have served the man for a long time, long enough to know what is coming. I believe I have a solution, one that involves you.
A solution. A solution. The look on Sabria's face is one of amusement. What is your solution, wizard?
I have brought you to a place where I believe Beldinus will be complacent, vulnerable. It will not be easy still, and you will not be alone. There are 4 others that I have brought here in hopes that you might all work together. A great knight, a slave who is much more than what he knows, my daughter Averin, and my daughter Lyralee.
And Beldinus is here, in this place.
It will not be easy to get to him, but he is here.
Grandmaster, I don't do anything the easy way.
He smiles a little bit. I noticed that about you. I like it.
Please do not imagine that my willingness to engage in this conversation you comes from a place of trust. It does not. But we share common purpose. Then tell me, where may I find these others? Where can I find Beldinus? What do you know that would aid me in ending him?
Right now, you are in a place between worlds, a nexus of sorts. It's a temporary thing. It will end soon. When it ends, you will find your allies. From there, you will travel to Istar. You may find it a different place than you remembered. Once you reach Istar, I will find you, and together. Do not mistake me. I am not a hero. I simply do not wish to die a monster.
Don't expend worry that I might mistake you for a hero. I have seen your true nature, and I know what you are. How will I find the city different?
Even I do not know the answer to that question yet. I cannot predict what changes have occurred since the ritual. But soon we will learn together. And there, we will find a way. Do you agree? Are you ready to fight against Beldinas once again.
I am ready, and I will see my quest complete. But I would caution you. You have seen only a little of what I am capable of. The same saber that I buried in the chest of the king priest, I can bury in yours, and I dare say as resistant to its effects as he was. Do not betray me.
I have no doubt of your righteousness and your ability, and you need not worry that I will betray you.
Very well, then. Sabria clearly does not believe that statement. And yet, she offers her hand. Let us see it done.
In a practiced, noble gesture, he reaches out and takes her hand. Is she trying anything here?
No, she's not.
He melts into the light like a rainbow of colors, no longer a dark shape, but like stained glass. And then he is gone. And then the light begins to dim. You no longer find yourself in a sea of pure energy. The light gives way to a twinkling starlight and a vast, complex sky, untarnished by the pollution of civilization. You are standing on a sandy desert dune, overlooking the home of the Al-Nohuri clan. Sabria, what does the clan's home look like?
The Al-Nohuri clan dwells in many places. They are a tribe of desert nomads, but this place is one that is very familiar to my eyes, and my eyes drink it in like the water of the oasis that sits at its heart. Palms rise from a depression among the dunes, and there in the middle, a spring feeds a pool of water that is as blue as any sea. The water is sweet. There's no salt to it, and around it gather the animals of the tribe: camels, sheep, horses, a few dogs, cats. The tents are arrayed on the palm fronds, but extending out beyond that, perhaps 2,000 tents, perhaps more. At the center of them, near the water's edge, sits a tent of particular splendor. While most of the others blend in to the desert sand around them, this one is arrayed in reds, golds, and purples. It is the tent of my adopted family. And this is home for me.
And you do not stand far from it now, a few hundred yards. It's evening, people are moving about. No one seems to have noticed you. But as your eyes move to that ornate, great tent with all of its reds matching and turning to purples under the coming twilight, there you see Erit. You know her even with her back turned towards you. Both of her hands are resting on her hips, and behind her, a man approaches. He is a plain-looking man, a simple looking man. Not spectacular. He places his hands over her hands and turns her towards him. And that's when she also turns towards you. Sabria, what does Erit look like right now? What is she wearing?
She is small, perhaps just over 5 feet, and delicate. Her skin is the color of caramel, and it rolls in waves down her shoulders and across her chest. She wears look as though they're spun from gold, and she is beautiful, so beautiful.
She seems to be glowing. Maybe it's been a while since you've seen her. As you're looking on, as she's turned towards you, it's then that you realize that there's a change. Her stomach is swollen, filled with a child that will soon be born. The man, you know is her husband, leans in to kiss her. It's a romantic gesture, and though she kisses him back, her return is colder, more distant. She breaks away from the kiss after a brief moment, and when she does, you think that you see her eyes look over his shoulder and beyond to you.
When I see her belly, my breath catches in my throat. But as her eyes focus beyond him to me, I can't help but raise my hand and wave and begin walking toward them.
It seems like she's continuing to look at you as you wave. You move into the camp closer to the center. He's speaking to her, saying something into her ear, but she's still looking dull-eyed, worn and resolved to whatever life she lives now, staring at you. She doesn't wave back, but before you get to the tent, he turns her by the shoulders and begins to lead her into the tent.
I call, Erit, my sister.
As you call out, no one seems to turn to you. No one seems to notice that you're there. But there is an answer from within the tent. It's the screaming of a woman. It sounds like a reet.
I run at as fast as my legs will carry me. As I'm running, my scimitar is in my hand, and my mind turns to the most powerful of the combat rituals that I have learned, and I prepare to face whatever it might be that has caused this.
You are almost to the opening in the tent when Arit's husband pushes out of the tent. He slams into you, bounces off of you, looks around as though he can't see you, and then he doubles over and vomits into the sand.
What? What have you done? I reach out to push him aside and enter the tent.
You, just as he's wiping his mouth, push him over and he hits the sand, scrambles up to his feet, looks spooked as he's looking past you, around you, and he starts to scurry off into the night. You push into the tent. There, inside the tent, just standing right beside the flap, is Gaspar. He is looking onward. And further into the tent, you see a series of women, midwives, men, all helping Arit give birth. And she is pushing and she is screaming. People are bringing her water. People are bringing her grapes.
I immediately sheathed my weapon and bow my head, standing next to Gaspar. My lord, father, forgive me. I heard the scream and feared the worst. That miserable coward that is her husband is throwing up in the sand outside. How does it go?
Roll me a persuasion check. Gaspar stands there and stares at his daughter. There's a small smile on his face. It's a proud smile. There's some fear in his eyes, but this idea passes in your head that maybe he's never looked more like a father than he looks right now in this moment. He does not turn to you. He does not respond to you. Like many of the others, he doesn't seem to see you.
I lift my head from where I had bowed out of respect and apology for having burst in, and turn him. My lord, father, it's me. It's Sabria. I don't know how I've come to be here. Is he reacting?
He is not, but you do feel the sand beneath your feet shift violently for a few moments, and Gaspar reacts to that. Even though everyone else is busy with the childbirth, and even as she pushes, you see the babe born, a pile of fluid. But Gaspar, he steps outside.
Does Arit appear to be okay?
She does. She is exhausted. She's breathing heavily. She's crying out, reaching for the baby. The baby doesn't seem to be breathing.
I'm about to turn and follow Gaspar out of the tent when I notice that the child is not breathing. As I notice, I begin to I move as quickly as I can to her side and toward the child, my hands extended in almost instinctively in a blessing. If I have to push my way through attendants to get to the child, I'll do it.
They are pushed out of your way and they all seem confused. They all scatter back, and then there's another shifting of the sands beneath your feet. You are able to get to the child.
I place my right hand open and cup it around the child's a tiny head. What do I see?
It's a beautiful baby girl. You're not sure if it's alive or dead. It just hasn't, it's not breathing.
I nearest attendant, do something. Do something. You surely must know what to do.
Roll me a persuasion check. The sands shift again. There seems to be confusion and chaos, especially now that you've pushed your way through. Your hands are touching the babe. Is there anything you would like to do?
My thoughts, for just a moment, return to what is the proudest moment of my life, the day that I was sworn in to this martial order of warrior priests. And I remember that day surrendering my healing magic so that I might take up the spiritual weapons of war. And in that moment, I cursed that I turned to the next attendant and the closest and grab by the tunic and shake them. You something. You.
The attendant pushes away from you, doesn't seem to see you, but panic in their eyes. And then you feel something inside you for the last time. A warmth, a power. That power radiates from you, and for the briefest moment, your healing magic is returned, and that magic passes through you from your god, and the baby begins to cry, and Arit reaches upward. The midwives are crying. Arit clutches the baby to her chest. She's smiling. The sands shift again.
I fall to my knees. I feel the warmth of the sand, and I raise my hands in grateful prayer. Sirion has saved this child. The god of fire claims this child as his own. And I stand and move to the baby girl and to her mother, my love. And on the forehead of each, with my thumb, I trace the flame of blessing and of commitment, just as I did for Arit years ago when I served as a missionary here with her people.
It's chaos around you. Even though something unexplainable has happened for everyone inside this tent, they're all overjoyed for Arit, for the baby. Roll me a perception check. Beyond the cries of the child, beyond the words of congratulation, you see Arit for a moment look at you and then look past you. You can't be sure if she saw you or not, but she's smiling. And then you hear shouting from multiple voices outside.
I linger for the briefest of moments over the two. And then I turn, and as I do, I toss back my robes again to reveal my weapons and move toward the exit of the tent, toward Gaspar, where he went, to see what it is that troubles my people so.
As you run out of the tent into the night, into the camp, people are scrambling around. You don't see Gaspar. Maybe he's lost in the crowd. The stars above, though, are gone now. They're replaced by the pollution of smoke and firelight. And there, far off in the distance, very far off in the direction of the city of Istar, a burning ball of fire the size of a mountain, the size of a nation, smothers the sky, and the mountain is falling.
To myself, under my breath, I have foreseen this.
The mountain continues to fall at a rapid rate. It crashes beyond the horizon, and for a few moments, you're almost blinded by an explosion of distant light, the ground zero of a cataclysmic impact. Beneath your feet, around you, walls, sand dunes, the earth itself quakes at the wrath of the gods. The people of the Al-Nohuri clan are yelling, screaming, afraid. Many of them are pointing directly upwards.
No, 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 no. My eyes follow their hands upward. What do I see?
You see that it's not only a mountain that has fallen from the sky, it seems as though all of heaven is falling. Broken comets of fire streaking downwards, hammering towards the earth, towards the desert, towards you, towards the Al-Nohuri clan, towards Arit.
No, no, this cannot be. This cannot be. I begin, my eyes search the camp around me. I'm looking for where the warriors have gathered. That is my place. And that is my call and my commitment. I'm looking for Gaspar or others that I would recognize. I have lived with these people. I've fought by their side. I've won wars with them. And there's no other place that I should be.
You see Gaspar running, pushing through the crowd, moving back towards the tent. And as he gets close to you, words that you spoke not long ago enter into your mind again. Bring your wrath, Lord. Bring your hammer. Those were the last words that you spoke in the temple of Kirijalith before the shadows swallowed you. Now you are witnessing the gods answer your prayer. Gaspar pushes towards you even as merciless fire rains down.
No, no, no. No, not like this, not now, not here. My face upward, even as fire rains down around me. Not this, not these people. These are your people. They are innocent.
You cry out into the night. The gods are no longer with you on Kryn. The gods have left. Fire rains, melts flesh, melts sand, leaving nothing but a smoldering heap and a dead clan in its wake. But you do not die. You do not even feel any pain. When the smoke clears, you are again awash in darkness. The only light there, a faint glow from your own body, and the faint glow from the body of 4 others. Sir Reardon, Averin, Rokon, all tied together by a rope. And then Honoria, too, the black-robed woman you'd seen on the other side of the Veil of Shadow. And for the first time, you all find yourselves in the same place at the same time, having survived each your own tribulations.
As I appear in this place, I'm still gazing upward to heavens that are no longer there and crying, no, 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 no.
What troubles you, child?
I turn, anger burning in my eyes. What? Who are you? What are you?
Don't you remember?
My fists are clenched and my teeth grind.
I spread my hands out slowly, with my spellbook in one side. My face calm and placid. I tried so hard to get to you. On the other side.
I know what you tried.
Reardon, Averin, and Rokon. This is the point where you see these 2 new figures materialize out of the darkness. This point in the conversation. You've all seen this already, but now, Honoria and Sabria, you see this as well. There is another source of light here in the darkness. 2 large orbs of blazing flicker, illuminating the horrible silhouette of a massive beast with black wings and black, scaly flesh. And a third light appears as the creature turns its baleful gaze towards the lot of you. It opens its maw, and within its great, fanged mouth, you all see a living, erupting inferno. At this light, as your eyes adjust, all of you, you realize that you're not in an ocean of shadow like before. You're standing on a tangible field, a large night-covered grassy grove surrounded by a leafless skeletal forest on all sides. It's storm clouds that blot out the stars, blot out the moons. You know this because a light rain begins to fall.
Sir Reardon will immediately, as he already has absolution out upon seeing the beast, he will drop the sword against the rope and cut himself free from Rokon as he turns and pulls the sword up, awaiting to see the color of the beast.
The dragon is the size of a small house, and roll me a perception check.
"19.
You're certain that this is some sort of red dragon, but its scales are darker than usual. It's because they are dancing shadows that cling to those scales, slithering and worming their way over it. And as you're staring at the dragon, it takes one lumbering step towards you, and then the dragon roars.
Scatter! As he screams, as this thing begins to move.
It's at this
Rukon
point-
kind of takes the rope that's left towards Averin and tries to use his might and snap himself free.
It's easy to do. You're strong. Your adrenaline is pumping. You're able to get free, and now Averin's just got the rope dangling from her wrist. As you scatter or talk or do whatever you'd like to do, I want you to all roll me initiative. And as you read off your initiative, so I can get you ordered, also talk to me about how much inspiration you have, whether or not you have plot armor. For the viewers, I know how much you have.
I have an initiative of 19.
And you all have plot armor 10, thanks to I just saw something come in chat. So initiative 19.
Yes, inspiration 3, plot armor 10. The light still shines 0.
0. All right, and so we have, I see, Sir Reardon the 17.
Sir Reardon Pathwarden, initiative 17. Plot armor 2. And I think 2. And inspiration 1. And the light still shines 2.
All right, and we have, is that a 15 for Averin?
With 1 inspiration and 20 points of plot armor, which is good.
So you, and I will mention this, Averin is our only injured character right now, so you're at half max hit points. So how many hit points do you have right now?
16 max HP.
Awesome. And then go ahead and roll me initiative, Rukon.
Rukon has a 4 initiative and 2 inspiration with 23 hit points and 10 plot armor hit points.
All right.
I would remind my good friend that didn't we have a long rest? You should be at full hit points.
Full hit points.
And a short rest.
But it was a short rest.
Yeah, a short rest to pump up. I need you at full strength, Bull.
Well, that changes things. That's 51 hit points with 10 plot armor.
Great. So Reardon yells scatter. The beast takes a lumbering step towards you. Honoria, what do you do?
Tangus Matai, and I cast Toll the Dead while running in one direction, scattering as this strange man whom I've never seen before suggests, and at the same time I tuck my spellbook in between my hands and I roll my hands around, pulling the weave into me once more, and I throw out Korak Linkaren, and a bolt of, oh god, how well do I know dragons? Acid, I think, for red dragons would work. A ball of acid shoots towards the dragon. So if I may, Toll the Dead at
Throw him up.
Yeah.
And because Nutari is shining in the sky, Honoria benefits from her alignment to that moon. It's the greatest moon in the night sky currently, and she can cast 2 spells per turn, 1 cantrip and 1 using her bonus action cantrip and using her full action level 1 speller.
Okay, so it needs to make a wisdom saving throw or take necrotic damage. And that's fucking awesome for me.
All right, roll that damage.
All right, I shall. And the Chromatic Orb is, I believe, a hit with my spell of 1d20. 6. It's like No, critical fail.
So
guessing-
you feel those shadows wrap around and protect it from part of your spell. You feel as though it was only partially effective. You launch the Chromatic Orb, but the beast's head dips at the last moment, and the orb goes splashing overhead, burning against a skeletal tree behind the dragon.
I continue the rest of my action running, just
Running.
kind of, for lack of a better word, strafing away from the dragon.
And then we have Reardon. You're up.
Reardon will, for a moment, spare just a glance at the finely woven and braided cord that is wrapped around his right forearm, his sword arm, and he will pull Absolution up as he charges into the beast. And I am going to attack the first time and use a superiority die to feint. If I hit, that gives me advantage on my next attack.
Where are you attacking the beast?
How about its mouth? I don't think a 10 will do it, though.
No. Again, its head dips down and then it pulls back up. Just as you're swinging the blade upward, it just misses the bottom of its jaw.
Yes, let's try this again, beastie. And he's going to attack again. 16.
And that too is a miss, just barely this time, glancing off the black scales. You've got
Well,
attention.
its attention is not what I desire. As he turns and sees the two glances come off of the sword, I'm going to action surge, my friend, because it seems about that time. And so with the action surge, I'm going to come at it again, every one of these in an effort to feint. Well, this one anyway. 26.
That'll do it.
Okay, so that's 12 plus a superiority die damage. It'll be 14 damage slashing. And then I get advantage on this next attack, which I intend to launch right now.
As your blade glances off of the scales, this time striking it in the neck, the lower neck portion. Again, those shadows seem to resist you, and you feel like your blade is only partially effective.
Partially is better than nothing. So with advantage. 22.
That's a hit.
Okay, so with the 22, he is going to go ahead. No, I'm not going to do it this time. I should, but I won't. So that's 11 slashing as he brings it down again for a grand total of 25 this round. And he is going to stand directly in front of the beast.
You all watch as Sir Reardon yells scatter and then directly charges this dragon. He swings 4 times and twice he strikes true, but the dragon does not seem phased. And Averin, you feel rejuvenated. It's almost as though wherever you've come through, however you've come through the veil, thanks to, I think I saw donation in chat, Averin is healed of her injury. So now she's at her full hit points. That probably saved your life. We'll see. There's still time. Right now it's your turn.
How far away is the dragon from me?
Reardon had to charge about 30 feet. So you're still in front of it because you guys were clumped with Reardon, but it's about 30 feet ahead of you.
Okay.
I'm engaged, rogue.
I know you have. Thank you, Knight. Yeah, I'm going to run to a different side of this dragon and just like pulling out the rapier, just go and in for the attack on one side.
You can run to its left side or its right side, but you'll still be in front of it, sort of. With
Yeah, just enough to not be directly with.
to be outside of, like, I don't know, a cone or some such.
Yeah,
I got you.
And I'm going to attack. My rapier.
Do you have advantage on this? Because
Yes, hold on.
is it you, right? Because you have an act. You're the first to act before.
Yeah, it hadn't acted yet, so I get advantage with an 18.
That's it.
Cool.
And she would be flanking too, so.
Mm-hmm. So.
She's not flanking where she's standing. She's in front of it too.
Oh, okay.
Our flanking is side to side, front to back.
So I'm shifting. And I will attack with my offhand the Tonfa.
Oh, you have a sneak attack too.
I do. So do a second attack, and then I'll do sneak attack. A 19.
That's also a hit.
5 points, and then let's say 3d6. Max fucking damage on that sneak attack.
Wow, that's amazing. All right. So, the sneak attack is the Tonfa attack. Is that right?
Yep.
As you bring the weapon that Leerily held up and strike it, unlike your blade, which seems to almost glance off of the shadows, you hit something in the leg, in the front right leg, and you think you hear something snap. You hit it hard, and for a moment, it buckles on that knee before it straightens its leg again. And now you have the dragon's attention. Is that the end of your turn?
I believe it is.
At the end of your turn, the dragon uses a legendary action. It sweeps its long black and red tail around its body and whips it at you. Offering. $14.
That's my AC.
So it strikes you for 9 bludgeoning damage, which you are able to absorb through sheer adrenaline and plot armor. However, you do need to make a strength saving throw for me.
All right. Nat 1.
That's just how it goes sometimes. It wraps that tail around you, and you feel it lifting you up off the ground, only a few feet at this point. And then it's the dragon's turn. The dragon turns its maw towards Sir Reardon and snaps at it with a bite. 16. Reardon bats away.
No, thank you, beastie. Slaps it with the flat of his sword.
Flat of your sword, and his maw goes aside, and even with the momentum of its maw, its left claw comes up and it swipes twice at you with its multi-attack.
Let's do something first, because he missed me. So with a grand riposte and a superiority attack, in case this is the end of Sir Reardon, I will go down a swinging. 21.
That's it.
9 plus superiority. 16 slashing as he brings it down with the flat, redirects with his hand, and drives it through the gum of the beast as it comes through.
And you manage now to pierce. You see one of its teeth, its fangs loosen as your blade runs through its gum, and it side to side pulls its head back, yanks back on your sword. You almost lose your sword for a second, but you're able to hold on, and then it attacks you with its claw. 19.
19 hits. Miss.
You take 8 slashing damage from the claw.
I'll take it. He's feeling a bit better about this exchange as he stands and tries to again shoulder up in front of this creature. If anything, he wants to occupy its field of vision. See nothing but the night.
And though he's focused on you, Sir Reardon, and he uses another of his legendary actions, and that tail that's wrapped around Averin right now, it constricts, and you need to make me another strength saving throw.
Solid 6.
As it crushes the breath out of you, you feel your ribs beginning to crack beneath its intense strength. You will take 14 bludgeoning damage.
Alright, that is. Oh, wait, let me look at my plot armor.
Don, did you say that Reardon sees this?
You can see at this point it's lifted Averin up off the ground with its tail and beginning to pull her around to its side. It's got her several feet up.
Just in case, not trying to belittle his companion who has proven himself to be a worthy fighter, he will gesture with the tip of Absolution, his greatsword, towards Averin, and he will yell out to his Minotaur comrade, "Rook on!"
And at the end of your turn, before Rookon's turn, first we move to Sabria. Sabria, you are a bit maybe still in a daze. You've just moved to this place. It's jarring. Everything you felt, everything you've experienced. How are you handling this first few moments of this combat?
As soon as my instincts and training kicked in, I am a veteran warrior myself. And so I take careful note of the direction in which the others have gone, and I move so as to be separated enough for our purposes in combating this beast. I would like to be able to launch a ranged attack from the side at its neck below, and I hold up my left hand. My right is still gripping my scimitar, but with my left hand extended out in front of me, palm facing the beast. At my highest.
So I got it all except for palm facing the beast. What spell do you cast at your highest level?
That's Guiding Bolt.
Wonderful. Go ahead, and is that a 17 there?
Yes, it is.
And as you strike with the Guiding Bolt, those shadows that are dancing, swirling around the dragon, they melt back. They actually pull away from the blast. And the beast is vulnerable to this damage. How much damage do you do?
Let's see, shall we? 26 radiant damage.
It howls and roars and stomps its legs. You just strike it right in its chest, and you burn away some of the scales. And beneath those scales, Sir Reardon being so close to it, you can see there's something liquid, something fire, something both inside of it, and it's beginning to seep out. Anything else on your turn?
Yes, as I see the attack land, I immediately use the remainder of my movement to circle around it toward the tail, getting further away from that most dangerous head.
You're able to make it halfway around, but not entirely around without the dash action.
All right, I end my turn.
At the end of your turn, the dragon uses legendary action, and at this point, its maw broken, one tooth dangling out of it from where it's been wounded, opens, and a hot, smoky breath is unleashed directly into the eyes of Sir Reardon and outward. It's a plume, a cone that also will hit Rookon. I need you both to make me a dexterity saving throw.
Natural 20.
This is burning, a mix of fire and ash. Reardon, you've never seen or experienced a dragon like this. You know your dragons, you're studied, and though you recognize this as some sort of red dragon, there's something different about this one. You, Reardon, will take 8 fire damage, even though you're able to shield as much as you can. Rookon, you will take 18 fire damage as you, for a moment, are blinded by this breath, and then it's Rookon's turn.
Rookon, spending the last 30 seconds watching this happen, each series of combat sequences, there's a weight in his chest that's been drawing higher and higher, and his throat closes off, and he's grasping towards his own throat, and then the blood vessels on the sides of his eyes burst, and a tide of blood washes over the whites of his eyes. And as he gets hit with this breath, it's this choking and it's madness, and he drops to the ground for a moment, and his fingers dig into the earth, and he tenses all of his muscles, the veins going from his neck into his skull enlarge, and then this guttural roar is released as he pushes himself up off the ground, shield strapped to his arm, goes around to make an arcing pattern using his dash action and charging for a goring rush at the base of the tail of the beast.
And because you can goring rush and dash on the same turn, you will have advantage in flanking on this attack.
Great news. Let me just click some things. It's a 20.
That's a hit.
All right. And with rage damage,
is that a 12 there?
yeah.
You strike the beast in the tail, and it almost drops Avren. As a matter of fact, it loosens for a moment, and she begins to slip out, but then it begins to constrict again. You find yourself at the back of the beast. Is there anything else you want to do on your turn?
No. But to note, he has his shield readied and no weapon at hand.
You notice that some of the earlier attacks were not very effective against this beast, but since Sabria, this fiery-haired priestess, cast this bolt of light at it, and those shadows receded, and you struck it, you don't feel any resistance beyond its scales. As a matter of fact, your horns break off a shard of scale at the force of your blow. And again, it roars in pain and fury. And we're back up to Honoria.
I stop, struggling for a second to pull off my crossbow and loading it up. And as I'm doing so, I shout out as loud as I can, Ugam dak arash voth vatir doksted ost uz. And I fire off my crossbow and then drop it to the ground, and I bring my hands around me, Tangus unmatai. And loosely translated, I'm yelling it in Abyssal. Ugly worm, stupid worm, fighting the fighters instead of a wizard. And I throw my magic at it and launch out crossbow bolt at the same time. Well, in
succession. Perfect.
Yeah.
I love it.
15
The
fire.
crossbow bolt bounces off of its scales.
And for it needs to make a wisdom saving throw.
And which spell is this?
This is Toll of the Dead, and it is a necrotic spell. And because I have 3 stacks of inspiration, I'll be doing max damage for 16.
All right. And unlike before, again, and you recognize this difference, but because those shadows have receded, you feel like your spell is more effective than before. And as you unleash this spell and wrap it around its neck, pull it down, its face for a moment, its eyes are right by Reardon's. And it hurts. You feel like you have managed to hurt this dragon. It's starting to bleed from its several open wounds where scales have been broken away, and that blood is hot, liquid, magmic.
That's how I spend the remainder of my action. And I stand where I am, getting ready to bend down and pick up my crossbow again.
It's one of my favorite free actions that I've ever seen a player do. Just hissing at a dragon. I love it. Sir Reardon, it is the beginning of your turn, and at the beginning of your turn, I need you to make me a Constitution saving throw.
Sure. 24.
You feel the heat of this fiery blood as it's seeping out into the ground, burning the ground. It does burn you. You're able to resist some of that heat, but you will still take 7 fire damage from your close proximity to the beast.
I have a question, fair dungeon master.
Yes.
As I have been awarded 3 stacks of plot armor, should I be burning through these, or will you let me know when they are to be used?
Oh, no, burn through them. It's sheer determination, and the fact that at this point you fought the Knight of the Black Rose, you fought the Auric Draconians, you've been through some sort of hell, and you're standing here toe-to-toe with a dragon. You're pushing onward despite the pain.
I will take your compliment in stride. I am a man of both honor, integrity, and self-knowledge. But as he turns, and I will take 2 of the plot armors, and then I think I will absorb the other 3 damage, if that's okay. He is going to, again, draw the attack in. I'm going to spend another superiority die. This time we're going for a feint. No, I have advantage because of flanking with Rukan, right?
That's correct.
I'm going with a goading attack. I'm going to try to draw this thing's ire directly towards me. So, a 9 will not do it, but I get 2 attacks. A 20 will.
So
9.
your second one hits for 9.
11 total with the superiority damage, and then with the goading strike. Give me one moment while I... He has to make a DC 15 wisdom save, or he gets disadvantage on every attack but me.
And he fails his wisdom saving throw, despite all of the fire that he's taking from all different directions, and that everyone is causing this creature pain. You've got its attention. You've had its attention most of this time. A dragon knows a knight and knows what to do with a knight.
He will stand directly at the end of the maul as it rocks and rolls, and he will point at his own eyes, taking his hand off of absolution for a second. Right here, beast.
Is that the end of your turn?
Yes.
At the end of your turn, the dragon does as you ask, and that bleeding, half-broken maw opens up wide, twists its neck, and then snaps at you, at both of your sides, fangs attempting to pierce your body. How do you stop it? How do you want to stop this?
As it comes in, he throws absolution up in a crossbar move, and as it goes to bite, if you will allow this, absolution's going to drive through its lower jaw as he yanks it free and takes the rest of that jaw with it. Eyes here, beast!
You grab the jaw and pull, breaking that half wiggling fang and cracking another. But it's still strong. It's not defeated. It does pull away from your hand, but you managed to avoid getting bitten, and you hurt it a little bit more too.
And he missed me.
And he missed you.
So with Grand
Alright.
Riposte and my 4th
Oh, yeah.
superiority die, I would like to attack. 18
That's a hit.
for 10. 11 damage. Oh, I get to reroll ones. Hold on. I haven't been doing that. Damn it. No, wait, that's a superiority die. Oh, probably made terrible. Okay, I do get to reroll one. I get a 3, so it's 3 plus 5. I've been so excited. It's still a 3, 8, 4, 12, 15. I haven't been rerolling my ones. I've been so excited.
You strike the dragon again. Is there anything else you have? That's the end of your turn, yeah.
Well, it's the end of my reaction, yes.
Your reaction. Avrin, it's your turn now, and I need you to make me a Constitution saving throw and a Strength saving throw.
Constitution 15. Strength is a 4.
It continues to constrict around you for a few moments, and you will take 14 bludgeon damage once again. And because of your proximity, how close you are, just the open tail wound now bleeding fire, you will also take, with your failed saving throw, 14 fire damage.
Is there any way to uncanny dodge any of this?
No, because this is not an attack.
Okay, cool, great, awesome.
But it is your turn. You are grappled.
No. I would like to get out, please and thanks.
All right, so you want to roll me a contesting check?
Yeah, I would like to, if I can use acrobatics to wiggle my way out.
Absolutely.
God, are you?
That will be an 8. So it just manages to hold you.
I'm so out of breath just having my ribs being cracked in, essentially. I don't have the strength.
All right. Do you have anything else you can do on your turn? You still have a bonus action.
Bonus action. I don't think I can do anything on my bonus action.
So you watch as Avrin is jerked back and forth. You can all see her now, the dragon getting more and more wild, still trapped within that tail. And at the end of Avrin's turn, the dragon lets go of her. She falls into the grass, and instead it whips that tail around at Sir Reardon. Sir Reardon, make me a strength saving throw, and you will take 9 bludgeon damage.
Thirteen.
It wraps around you. You still have hold of your weapon, but it begins constricting, and you feel yourself lifted up about a foot off the ground.
That's right.
The dragon's wings begin to flap. But first, oh no, it is the dragon's turn. With Sir Reardon in its tail, it lifts up, and this is the first time it's left the ground. Its wings flapping. You can feel the cold wind brushing, pushing into you. Avrin and Rookone, neither of you will have advantage on this, but you will both have attacks of opportunity if you'd like.
Yeah, can I use my attack of opportunity for a grapple attack?
I don't think so. No, it's just a melee attack. weapons?
Yeah, that's all I have on me.
You both lash out, but the dragon lifts off with a surprising speed given its size, and it begins to circle. And as it circles, that fire that's bleeding from its open wounds rains down, and it's circling over all of you. With a flight speed of 80, it's going to do a complete loop, and its blood will rain down over the heads of Averin, Rukon, Sabria, Noria, and I need you all to make me dexterity saving throws.
I'd like to note that mine is 11 and not 10, just
Okay.
in case it makes any kind of difference.
Rukon got a 19. He's got advantage while raging against things he can see.
All right. So, Rukon and Averin, you're able to quickly move out of the way just enough to avoid the worst of this, because it burns with a heat like you have never felt before in your lives. And something else too, something corrupted, something unnatural. You recognize that, Honoria. You recognize that, Sabria. Rukon and Averin, you will both take 7 fire damage and 7 necrotic damage. No, I'm sorry, 8 and 8. Tia and Sabria, you will take 17 fire damage and 17 necrotic
That is
damage.
so great because my name is Honoria. So Tia, you know what? Nice.
Sorry.
Sorry, say again, 17?
17 and 17, so 34 total unless you have resistance to either fire or necrotic for Sabria and for Honoria.
And that'll burn through my ward first and my plot armor first, just to make sure. Okay.
And there are trees protecting you. They are burning now. They are on fire. As a matter of fact, this is how you start forest fires in this land. They are catching and spreading, and the beast is still flying overhead with Sir Reardon hanging from his tail. That's the dragon's turn. Sabria, it's your turn.
Sabria tries to dodge, but moves in exactly the wrong direction and is covered in this burning blood. It soaks through all of my plot armor and leaves me fairly severely wounded. But despite it, I grit my teeth. I use my free left hand to wipe the slime from my eyes. And again, palm extended toward the beast, I cast a guiding bolt, this time at 2nd level.
And this time, the beast flying, your bolt just misses as it begins to circle back around, and instead it flies off into the night, into the storm clouds in the distance. Is there anything else you'd like to do on your turn?
Has it moved out of visual range?
No, it's circling this clearing that you're in, which is partly hidden by trees, partly not hidden by trees. But no, it's not leaving you guys alone. In fact, it's almost like it's acting strategically, letting its fiery blood rain down on top of you and circling around you. It's turning around again.
With the remainder of my movement, I'm going to make a quick estimation of where the others are. Again, trying to space myself out such that any breath attack here would not hit more than one of us.
All right. As you move away, it spends a legendary action to fly half its speed, and now, as it's circling, suddenly it turns upwards, straight into the sky. 40 feet, 50 feet it rises, Sir Reardon flying up with it, and then it lets go. And Sir Reardon in his armor falls downwards 50 feet to the soft grass below. You will take some falling damage.
Some falling damage.
Point of contention, you said he's falling 50 feet?
He's falling 50 feet.
So when he's falling, that takes time to fall. So he has at least one action left before he hits the ground, right? If it's 50 feet, that would be 6 seconds. Sorry to be that person, but I'm going to be that person.
I don't think it takes 6 seconds to fall 50 feet, does it?
I don't...
Wait a minute, I'll be right back.
There is some time that passes, but I only want to ask because I do want to try and
it's all right.
heroically
I
save
got it.
him. Okay.
Your inspiration is used for wonderful saves like what you're planning.
I'm
I
trying,
applaud it.
buddy.
Oh, no, it's all right. I have something called the splat calculator pulled up.
What is your speed velocity of a falling knight?
I think it's like 1.8 seconds is what it's throwing at me right now. Oh, wait, no. It might be a little bit more. No, 1.8 seconds is.
So
what
that's still 6 seconds? And that was the dragon's turn?
No, this is the dragon's legendary action.
Oh.
Greg's turn is further away. So he falls. He falls 50 feet, and he takes 20 falling damage.
Luckily, I have 2 stacks of plot armor.
Oh, you do.
So I'm going to superhero pose this shit when I land.
And it is a number of branches that you hit on the way down. You toss and toss and toss, and you even are able to catch one of the branches and land on your feet. I won't even knock you prone for those 2 stacks of plot armor.
Valentine be praised.
Rookone, it's your turn.
And the dragon has yet to hit the ground, correct?
No, in fact, the dragon is 50 feet up in the air right now.
So I'm going to use my move to kind of to quickly run to the edge of the clearing. Would that be a full movement, half movement? How much space?
Are you trying to get to like the thicker tree line where you'd have a little bit more cover?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that would just be a regular move action. You don't have to sprint to get that far. It's not a huge clearing before you get to the trees.
And then I want to pop out my javelin and hurl a javelin.
All right. And I think you'll have disadvantage on that range because he's so far away, which you could cancel out if you have advantage or with inspiration.
I won't. I'll keep the disadvantage.
Okay.
$17.
That is a hit, just barely. And it's that dangling tail that just released Sir Reardon that your javelin sticks into, and it stays there. Go ahead and roll that damage.
9 total.
All right.
And then he looks up, seeing that he landed the hit, and just roars like a blood-curdling, mucus-filled, salivary roar.
The dragon roars back, and at the end of your turn, it dives using another legendary action to spin back towards the group. And now it's just 15 feet above you in the clearing. And it's Honoria's turn.
Worm. Tangus unmatai. She breathes heavily again. Korhak hinlikarham. And she falls to one knee. The first thing she's doing is shouting out again in Abyssal, trying to get the attention with the last of her strength as she feels every bit of the weave depleting from her body. Fly ugly worm, and she makes the distinction between worm and worm. When she goes out with Toll of the Dead, this is not where I will be using my advantage. I require this dragon to make a wisdom saving throw.
And once again, just like before, it fails.
Question, with the 3 stacks of inspiration, do we use those every single time? Since I used my max stacks on the last attack.
You use them if you want to max damage. It's 2 inspiration.
Okay, so I did use them, so I'm just rolling the straight out 2d12 because it's already injured, which will be a total of 7 damage. And as I pull out and from my knees throw out my Chromatic Orb, that is where I'm going to be using my inspiration that was gifted to me from chat. So I'll be using d20
Perfect.
plus 6.
And is this another blast of acid?
Can I make a intelligence check, Arcana? I don't remember off the top of my head as a player what dragons are immune or have.
I will allow you to make history or arcana here.
Go with an Arcana. 13.
This is a strange dragon. It's acted differently than those that you're familiar with, but you will note that it seems that fire is very much within its arsenal, and that the most effective thing you've seen against it was that guiding bolt, that blast of radiant magic that Sabria cast.
I have no radiant magic, so the best thing I could do is lightning this time around, I suppose, the closest. So 1d20 of 12 does not hit. I hope a dirty 20 hits.
It sure does.
And since I'm casting that spell at 2nd level, it's going to be 48. 18 damage. And so I throw it down on the ground, but as I'm throwing it, the last little bit of strength falls down for me, and I push one hand onto the ground as I look up at the dragon, seeing my ball of lightning connect, and that's the rest of my turn.
And as you blast the dragon, its scales, the arcs of that lightning, bounce from scale to scale to scale, almost as though they're conducting that electricity. And you think it's beginning to fall, not fly, but fall. First, though, Sir Reardon.
Reardon would spare a second to look back at the wizard as the wizard is throwing magics that he has seen before in battle, not particularly cared for, but in this situation, he approves. And I'm going to charge in and see if I can't intercept and go in, just going for the underbelly as it descends. He's going to run with it with movement and kind of almost like Big Trouble in Little China, flying through the air. And
so it's still 15 feet up. It's starting to fall. You could ready an attack, so like you're ready as soon as it gets within your range.
Yeah, I could do that.
You sure could.
Yeah, yes, I certainly am a racist knight when it comes to I see the wand of Orcus. Yes, I don't think well of wizards. No, but what I will do is, can I throw my sword?
Absolutely. It's not a throwing weapon, so I'll ask you to do it at disadvantage.
Could I throw my dagger?
You sure can.
All right. I don't have that fired up, so I'll just roll a base attack with the sword and adjust the damage accordingly. 17.
Do you throw your dagger with dexterity?
Sure.
You can throw it with dexterity or strength.
Great sword strength. So that's a hit. So it should be 1d4 plus your bonus.
Which bonus did you want me there for? Strength or dex? You said I can use either. I've never used dagger, so I'm not real.
Yeah, if you're using strength, then you use strength for the damage too.
Ready. 7.
And you stick it in an eye, and it continues to tumble, and it roars. And the fire in that eye melts the metal of the dagger. You can see its hilt start to fall away, but that fire is diminished now.
And then I have another attack. Can I just follow beneath it, readying that last swipe when it drops into a position of reach for my greatsword?
I don't think you can ready you can't ready an extra attack. So you can get in position, but you won't be able to hit it since you already took your shot at it with the dagger.
What the hell? I'm throwing it. So if I throw the knife, I'm throwing Absolution at its underbelly.
All right. I'll let you throw Absolution.
What do you want me to roll here for this?
Oh, just roll me, let's call it 1d20 plus dex this time.
Can I use one inspiration?
To offset your disadvantage, I'll let you do it.
Yeah.
Your plus strength. Sorry.
Plus, okay. Oops, that's what.
Oh, advantage. Oh.
It's rolling the dice and it's taking an awful long time.
Is this roll 20 napping?
I'm so scared. I can't stop crying.
Let me try.
No, don't you roll.
This time you launch your blade, and I don't know if you've ever thrown a great sword before.
Yes.
But okay. Well, this goes not as well as last time, and the dragon's maw snatches the blade and spins it, goes back into the mud. Then, is that the end of your turn?
Yeah, I'll use the rest of my movement to go get that.
All right. You scramble over towards your weapon. And as you do, at the end of your turn, the dragon will use its last remaining legendary action for this round to swing at you with its tail as it's tumbling towards the ground. 18.
Oh, for God's sakes. Yes, it is.
Make a strength saving throw, and you'll take 9 bludgeon damage.
Natural 20.
You're able to squeeze your way out and sneak your way out of the dragon's tail. Even though you take a wallop from it, you're still standing. Avrin, it's your turn.
Bonus action, I was just going to cast or use Second Wind. So
Okay.
I'm done.
Yep.
All right, pick myself off the ground after all this bullshit just went down, and I'm pulling out my my short bow. Pick out my short bow, and I'm going to start to kind of head in the direction of the dragon again, sticking some distance between me and the rest of the party members. I just lift it up and just at this creature.
Take your shot. And we'll say at this point, you guys have done a good job of spreading out. It's almost like you've almost got a circle as well as you can around a dragon.
Nope.
It's hard to hit a falling dragon, and he's falling fast. Do you have a second attack or anything else you can do in your turn?
No, that was not what I can do.
The dragon, before it crashes into the ground, pulls upward, and it pulls up directly overhead of Sir Reardon. And again, that fire rains down, and this time it rains down for Sir Reardon. All of it focused directly on him, even his breath unleashed in this simultaneous attack. Make me a dexterity saving throw. Sir Reardon, you take the full fury of this beast, this terribly wounded, barely flying dragon. That is 34 fire damage 17 necrotic damage.
Okay.
How does he deal with that?
On a scale of 1 to 100, I feel like a 4.
So you can feel your skin burning. Your metal of your armor is partially scorched. The heat is raining down on you. It's focusing on you, and it stays there. Its breath gives up, but it remains above you. And that's the end of the dragon's turn. That brings us to Allison.
Sabria takes note of the knight's foolishness at throwing his weapon and plans to offer him some advice when all of this is over. But quickly turning her mind back to matters more close at hand, she readies her guiding bolt spell yet again and lets fly. I'm going to use 1 inspiration on the attack roll for advantage.
All right.
Natural 20.
As critical as it gets. And it is vulnerable to your damage.
Yes. So max damage here is 30. Plus 6, 36.
Go ahead and click on the guiding bolt for me.
Yeah, sure.
Let's see. So 26 radiant and 17. Oh, higher level cast. This dragon is barely flying, and you unleash this blast of radiant light. What are you trying to do? Where are you aiming this at? How do you slay the dragon?
I'm aiming it at the most slender part of its neck. And as this blast of radiance flies forth from my left palm, it slices through the dragon's neck and separates it with a sizzling, popping noise from its head, and the 2 parts fall to the ground.
And as they tumble towards the battered, still standing, still fighting Sir Reardon. Reardon, make me a dexterity saving throw.
Natural 20.
You are able to scurry out of the way, get out of the way of the dragon. It crashes into the ground. You feel the force of it behind you. It throws you forward off your feet. You still hold on to absolution. And in the smoking, fiery center of a skeletal forest that is starting to burn on all sides, you all face the corpse of a terrible beast, all in a circle, and you see each other. And besides the sound of fire, it's quiet. And that's where we're going to end tonight's episode.
Woo!
Yeah! Yeah! Come on!
Ah!
What a fight!
Yeah!
We got the talent!
Fucking glorious.
That was amazing!
Chat. 6th member of the party there. Holy smokes.
Woo!
Oh,
Seriously.
holy smokes. Oh my goodness. Don, you got to check. Don, take it away, buddy. I'm
Yeah.
going to mute myself so I can scream.
Yeah, that was a blast. I had so much fun. You guys were all badasses. I love that you guys all got to be badasses too. I mean, that was something else.
It feels like a real party. Sorry, I'll shut up now.
No, you're right. That's the thing. I remember when you guys were first coming up with your character concepts, you weren't really like working it out with each other. You know, sometimes you can strategize to create like the perfect party. You didn't do that. You just all played the people who were in your hearts. And it so turns out that you make a hell of a group of companions. And I think you got to see that tonight for the first time. I am pumped. We have some polls going around right now. I'll get back to those here at the end. I would love to circle around and go to everybody. Tell us who you are, where we can find you, how you're doing, and let's go ahead and start off with Greg.
What? Are you kidding me? I mean, are you kidding me with all this? I said last week that I have never in my life rolled a sequence of real-time or action scene in Dungeons & Dragons or any role-playing game like I rolled for Sir Reardon last week. Turns out I was wrong, because Sir Reardon, despite I'm going to roll ones from now on out, but I've played this guy, and I saw Tia say something in chat. I've played this guy for less than a handful of hours. My favorite character I've ever played in my life. This character's lived in my heart for 35 years, and him finally having the chance to come. This is the best. I had so much fun tonight. It was absolutely one of my favorite all-time moments. Just everybody, the tag team. It didn't feel like initiative. It didn't feel mechanical at all. It felt like a moment and then a turn, and the camera panned to the next moment. Like the scenes between, like, you know, yelling at Rukon. It was amazing. It was a movie. Don, it was a master class in how to do this whole DMing thing. Amazing, brother. Amazing. I'm Grimjack21502 on the Twitches and the Twitters. You're where you need to be. Just be back here next Wednesday, everybody. Chat, thank you for being incredibly awesome, passionate, and supportive. It's your story as much as ours. You're making it amazing. Your comments in chat, they fuel us as much as dry leaves on a fire. It is fantastic. Thank you. I will shut up. Unless I'll hand it off. I'll hand it off to Billy. Billy, brother.
Yo, that was dope as fuck. Man. Yeah, I was definitely feeling that synergy, and I'm sure glad I got to rage. Is what I have to add to that. It feels so good. Like as a human person walking through the world, to be a fucking minotaur and fucking unleash hell on some shit. And I cannot wait to play with y'all again. This is so dope. Y'all can find me on Twitter at Bill. Man, I fucking forgot my handle. Bill of the Forest. And I can't. Oh, dude. Oh, man. You guys want to? Can we make this like a nightly thing? Can we just do this every night?
Yeah. Can we? Yeah. You know what? All in favor.
Do you guys have other commitments? Because I.
No. You know what? Fuck everything else.
Yeah, not anymore. My kids, they'll take care of themselves. I mean,
fuck them.
Survival of the fittest, right?
We can pay for your nannies are a thing, right? Okay.
But no, anyways, for real though, this was so dope, and finding out and being present with Averin and Sabria, that's man, like I'm in the zone, like I'm here. This is so fucking rad. I can't say anything else because I'm just gonna mumble like a bro for the next 45 minutes. So move on, please.
Let's go over to Allison. Allison, we know that you have the Wi-Fi, but your incredible scene, it was so moving. Like Kiana said and Tia said, there's a whole other show going in with just our reactions in the back, and that was amazing. My friend, how did you like the episode?
This was long time, folks. And we're going to forget. I will never forget tonight. I cannot thank you as a cast, Don as the steward and master of this story, chat. Just like Greg said, you are the sixth member of this party, and we feel your presence and your support just like we feel it from one another. And I killed a fucking dragon tonight. I wish you could see my face. I wish you could see my face. It was so good. It was so good. But I cannot wait. I cannot wait for next week when we can all actually meet and talk about what's just happened, because it's gonna be. Yeah, I love every second. I just can't. I can't express enough gratitude and love for all of you, and I can't wait for you to actually be able to see me next week when I can do this from my home. In the meantime, you can find me probably gloating on Twitter at Allison Robinson with 2 L's and a Y, and catch me here on the channel on Sunday nights for Project Athena, a Pulp Cthulhu adventure. If you want to know what Project Athena is, think the X-Files meets Indiana Jones, kind of. And Greg just sort of tried to kill me a little bit, or pretended to try to kill me, and it's going to get real weird next episode. So if you're into that sort of joy, come on and join us Sunday nights at 7 on the channel. See you, folks.
Fantastic. And somebody said that we're saying Chad is the 6th member. Somebody said they're the crazy, zany, chaotic 6th member. I guess that makes you guys a Kender. So let's jump over to Tia as Tia.
Oh, you did not just fucking
I did. I did it because
I want a refund.
I'm handing off to you, so of course I'm going to do it right when I'm handing off to you.
Kender and Laura Lania go hand in hand.
Listen, spoken as a fan and being your fellow party member, that description of your last spell where you took a knee was the coolest single description of a spell cast I have ever read, heard, seen, or experienced. That was amazing. It was next level shit, and I will never forget moments, and that might be the moment that I remember you dropping to a knee as the last of your magic shot from. Amazing. How did you like it, my friend?
I'm really glad that you say that, because it weaves into the next thing that I want to say. And this is entirely selfish of me to admit. Dungeons and Dragons has always been something that I play for me. I want my moment. I want it to be about me. I strive for my story, because it's something D&D. Watch episode 0. We won't get into it now. This is the first time where I can see those combat actions in seconds, where it is chains linking together between party members. I've never felt like this in D&D since the very first time I played. Going back to 15-year-old Tia, 14-year-old Tia, 13-year-old Tia, reading about Raceland losing all of his magic, just seeing the knight run up and dash forward and point to his friend, his minotaur, with his sword, and it's not a commanding action, it's a help me, brother, in this moment and in this fight. To seeing, going through back in time, someone holding a baby that's here with us now, it has never been a better web of things. And I've been playing this fucking game for 22 years, and I will need at least another 22 years more before I find a party, a dungeon master, a chat, friends that will ever make me feel these emotions truly. I'm a rules lawyer, and I forgot cantrip rules. Like, that's how in the moment I am with you guys, and I'm so glad that this is on Twitch, and it's just It's weird. I don't know how to explain it. I truly feel magical with this chat. I feel like the weave and magic and New Atari is real. I don't look at chat when I'm role playing. I don't look to be that Twitch production. I don't see any of it. All I feel is the moment with you guys, and I've been searching for this a long time. I love you all so much. I love you, chat.
Everybody, the wizard has spoken, and if the knight has anything he would like to add, it would be simply to click the links in chat, follow this amazing person, add her to your life. It will only make it better. And as we go up to Kiana, you and I both got the tail.
Fucking no! Oh my god, that there are no words to describe what just happened. It was so amazing. Just every single fucking moment was so amazing. Yeah, there were a lot of faces that were happening in the background. I'm probably very distracting, but it's so hard to not just feel every moment with every character. It's so good, y'all. It's so good. And I spend a lot of time in chat interacting with you guys and getting all the polls and stuff done, and you guys are fucking amazing too. Like, just supporting us, not just, you know, through donations, but also just being so invested in the story, in the characters. Just, it's this energy that we can feel and that feeds into us, and it just really bolsters who we are and what we're doing here. And like, holy shit, it's an experience that is, you know, unique and amazing, and I love it so much. So, whoo, we just fought a dragon. We defeated it. We may actually be a functioning party. Who knew? We'll see if everyone likes each other. We may be really good combat-wise. We'll see how relationships go. But yeah, you guys can find me over on Twitter. Yeah, kind of as best way to figure out what I'm doing. I'm all over the internet playing role-playing games. I'm going to plug Saturday, because not only am I here on this channel for Project Kronos with these amazing, couple of these lovely people here, Pop Cthulhu game, super awesome stuff, but I'm also in not one, but 2 charity games over on Unmade Gaming on Saturday, because I am going to be doing 14 hours of live streaming role-playing games, because this is my life. So catch me over on Unmade Gaming for charity stuff, and over on here for all the really cool things that we get to do, playing games, telling stories with our friends. And we'll see y'all around. Till next week. Why does it have to be a week?
Amazing.
It doesn't. If you donate $10,000 right now, I'm pretty sure that Dawn and Fire will continue.
Right. Don breaks open the notes. I'm gonna hand it back to the man that wove this story, dropped us into the center of a legend. I think, and I'm not being hyperbolic at all, the way that this man told this story, it's awe-inspiring. Don, take it away, my friend.
Thank you guys so much for being here, for being so passionate about your characters and each of their individual stories, and now the story that's starting to form as they come together. That's the story that we're going to be telling from here on out. This was a prologue, 4 episodes, and now we're going to start getting into what our story is really about, and that's about all of you. And I'm really, really excited about that. I loved the scenes today with Honoria and Raceland and Sabria and Arit. I can't even keep up with, I have to go back and watch the VODs to see what chat said, because it's so much energy, and people are so supportive. And I don't, I want to know what you guys think. I love it. I feel very, very fortunate to be here, to have something that I care about so much that I can give my all to, that everyone involved gives their all to. And tonight was a fantastic cap of a strange and deadly series of events. So some good news and some bad news, and I'll start with the good news. You have all survived the Siege of Palanthas collectively, fighting Beldina's Polyphero, the King Priest, Lord Soth, the Knight of the Black Rose, an Auroch Draconian, your Slave Master, your Father Hawk, and a challenge rating 10 Red Shadow Dragon. That is what you have survived in the first 4 episodes. It was a lot. You all will level up for next week to whatever your next level is. You have deserved...
Woo!
That said, we have the results from the polls, and we have some corruption saving throws to make, and a few people who are on the edge. So let's see how tonight goes. First off, and I'll fix this for next week. Honoria, you won the Eye of Nutari. Which character will be corrupted by Shadow this episode? You can't be more corrupted. Chat, Honoria is now chaotic evil. I don't know if you knew that, but you had a part in this in her first episode. She is as evil as she can get. So instead, that means that Sir Reardon is going to roll me 1d8. And
Oh, you think I'm gonna pick the knight?
Oh, no, he's next in the poll. You
Oh,
got second
okay.
place.
I was gonna say if I get to pick, my answer might have surprised you.
Sir Reardon, it's you. Roll me 1d8. You will gain 6 corruption.
Oh,
No, I won't.
I'm so sorry.
Second poll, the light still shines. Which character will be corrupted from a failed charisma saving throw this episode, or future episodes if you succeed your saving throw tonight? That's Averin. So our subscriber poll, fighting the corruption, which character will fight back against the corruption? This means that you lose corruption, and that's Rookone. Subscribers voted in a close one for Rookone. Rookone's at like 9 corruption right now, right?
Absolutely, precisely 9.
Roll me 1d8.
You got this.
And if you can't do it, I'm ready on the sidelines here, buddy. You lose 3 corruption. You are back to 6 corruption.
Join me on the dark side.
Now
Stop
everyone
whispering. That shit is fucking haunting. Just wow.
roll me charisma saving throws across the board. Everyone,
Why?
except for you. You don't. You
Okay.
can if you want. If you want, you can do it.
I mean, I'll play for fun, but
Yeah. Roll the dice. You did great.
I rolled an 8. Strong 8.
I love what you've done with the Dragonlance manual here, because it is so, and we reference Dragonlance so much in this, but as an old school Ravenloft player, second edition revised Ravenloft player, it is so reminiscent of that, and it is what originally forced me outside. I started as a lawful good character, believe it or not, in my D&D
All the way
days,
down.
and I made it all the way
It's
down.
the
So
best, yeah.
this
Ravenloft's my jam.
it teaches you how to move through different alignments, and we had some people in chat that were were giving me great advice on how to play different alignments. And because of this and seeing the flow of that, like, you take me back 20 years, Dawn. It is so amazing.
Well, I'm glad. So protected from corruption this episode, Greg, you failed your charisma saving throw. You lose one of your protections. How many do you have left?
I have 1 after these.
Kiana, you lose the corruption saving throw protection that you gained from the poll this episode. You also failed your saving throw. You won't gain corruption, but you have no more protection. Rookone, you just passed your corruption saving throw. You will gain no corruption. So that leaves only Sabria, having maybe faced one of the most traumatic events. The end of it, her own voice, her own prayer echoing in her mind. Roll me 1d8, Allison.
3.
You gain 3 corruption. No one turns, you all level up. And that's where we're going to end our prologue. That's where we're going to end this episode. Folks, if you want to find me, I'm at Donathan Fry on Twitter. I'm here on Saturday playing Project Kronos, which is like X-Files meets Golden Girls meets Grumpy Old Men. And, you know, I'm around. Find me on Twitter if you're interested in my other games. I will say tomorrow I'm doing a second part of a mini-series, like a 2 or 3 part mini-series. I'm running The Blood Plague, which is a game that I wrote and published for Encounter Roleplay. And I'm running it on friend Laugh Love Lindy's channel. So if you're around at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and want to see some more dark fantasy, that one's going to be real dark. I feel like I lost tonight. I feel like I have something to prove, and so that's next up on my list. So we'll see how that goes.
You feel like you lost after you literally took 2 people and one in their mouth and squished the other one with their tail and rained fiery death blood on us? That's a loss for you?
Seriously.
God, you are fucked up, man.
I, for one, say, fuck them up, Don. Go get them. Go get them. Take it all out on them, buddy. Go get
Actually,
them.
yeah, you know what? You totally lost. Get him. Get him.
That's it. That's all I have. Chat, thank you so much. You guys are awesome. I will mention we're gonna have 2 bonus episodes soon. We're gonna do 2 extra, and I think they're gonna be flashback episodes, which are like, I love that style of storytelling, moving in and out of time. I think it works really well for Dragonlance. And we'll have guest star Pope Deadpool from the chat. He's been for 2 episodes. He's been incredible. I've gotten to see the writing for the character that they're bringing in for those flashback episodes. It's awesome. I can't wait to play those. I can't wait to play these people. And I just can't wait to see you guys again next week.
Fantastic, and I can't say it any better than our DM, Donathan Fry, as he has woven this story around us. We still have some time here at the campfire, kids, so please just sit down. And as the light dies in the embers and we no longer can see to roll, know that we will be back next week. We will have the dice. If you have the time, let's tell some stories together. Till next time, my friends.